All right, guys, welcome back to another video. Let's talk here about the Q2 financial reports of 2024 that Microsoft has put out. Specifically, we're going to talk about Xbox and the gaming division because they've gotten a massive boost here from Activision Blizzard, and gaming is now one of the biggest sections of Microsoft, becoming the third largest business within Microsoft. And this is very important going forward for kind of how much focus is going to be on Xbox when it comes to the decisions that are being made from the very top of Microsoft, from Satya Nadella's hands on the platform. I mean, he gave $70 billion to Phil Spencer to go out and buy Activision Blizzard, and before that gave $7 billion. But he obviously believes in gaming, believes in what Xbox is going to be able to do in the future, and we can kind of see it all playing out here. And this financial report gives us an outlook on how much Activision Blizzard is going to be helping Xbox grow as we go forward. So here's a report. This is an article here from The Verge saying, speaking of devices, all eyes are on the Microsoft gaming division for the company's latest earnings. Microsoft is now reporting Activision Blizzard revenue as a part of its gaming unit, bolstering the overall revenues in Xbox content. So Xbox content and services revenues, which includes Xbox Game Pass, is up by 61%, which is insane. And I totally get it. This is because of Activision Blizzard. You think about the amount of money that games like Call of Duty do bring in from everybody making purchases via the game stores for battle passes, microtransactions. All of that stuff is added in here to the Xbox content and services revenue. So just 61% is massive. And this is something that will continue to grow, I think, going forward as Call of Duty gets bigger, as Xbox gets bigger, as they do put out more games. The craziest thing here of all of this is that nobody has yet played any of these games on Xbox Game Pass yet because they haven't been put out there. It's one of the frustrating things so far about this deal since it's closed, that we're still waiting on what the plan is for Activision Blizzard games and for Call of Duty coming onto the Game Pass subscription. Hopefully now that this financial report is out, they went through and they had to get all the negative stuff out of the way, obviously, which was with the 1,900 people that were laid off. Hopefully going forward, they are going to be able to come out and actually talk about their plans about Activision Blizzard and what they are going to be doing for Xbox Game Pass and for the fans and for the subscribers to the service. So huge increase here for the content and services revenue. They say here that Microsoft says the net impact from Activision Blizzard acquisition is just over $2 billion in revenue, but the cost of integration, transaction costs, and other costs of revenue all total $930 million, with other operating expenses of $1.59 billion. It works out to an operating loss of $440 million. So with everything that's going on, even with all that revenue, they're an operating loss of $440 million. Obviously, they are going to work on improving those numbers going forward, and they're not going to have to be dealing with the cost of integration and the transaction costs with their future reports. They say here, we'll need more guidance from Microsoft on what the next quarter of Activision Blizzard earnings will look like, particularly as Microsoft continues to integrate the company into the broader Microsoft gaming division. And this is another interesting thing when it comes to how Microsoft is integrating Activision Blizzard into Xbox and how they're kind of integrating Activision and Blizzard. I mean, the thing that we did see was included in the 1,900 workers laid off was Mike Ybarra being laid off and them hiring Johanna Faries as the new president of Blizzard, who was previously at Activision, worked on the esports side of COD and Call of Duty. So taking an executive from over there and bringing them as the president of Blizzard, to me, that kind of is signaling they may have more integration between Activision and Blizzard. And maybe that's kind of what they want because they're all part of Xbox. I'm not totally sure. I don't know how well that will work out because, I mean, Blizzard and Activision are two completely different developers and publishers, and they're two completely different genres of games and consumers that they appeal to. So we will see how that works out. And I feel like at the end of the day, if they just keep putting out good content, or if they start putting out newer good content, then there won't be any issue. But that will be something very interesting to track as we continue on this whole acquisition and how Xbox is going to be handling Activision Blizzard. Now, when it comes to hardware, there's a couple of things here. First of all, the hardware was up by 3% A lot of this being pushed by the holiday quarter. As we know, Microsoft slashes the prices, and there's really good deals for the Xbox Series S and the Xbox Series X now. I mean, the Xbox Series X had phenomenal deals over Christmas. The S has had phenomenal deals for the last couple of years, and those greatly help in pushing people going out and buying the consoles themselves. They say Microsoft ran a number of Xbox Series X promotions during the holidays in the US, but that doesn't appear to have resulted in a big boost in sales and revenue. Overall, Microsoft's gaming revenue is up 49%. Again, mainly due to the Activision Blizzard revenues. And they say it's an important quarter for gaming at Microsoft as it's now the company's third largest business. Gaming contributed $7.11 billion in revenue for the quarter, more than $5.26 billion from Windows, but behind the $13.47 billion from Office and cloud services, and then the giant $23.95 billion from server products and cloud services. So third largest now, Microsoft, and which means a lot more scrutiny on how the gaming division does. There's going to be there. I mean, the spotlight's on there. Satya Nadella is going to be right there, I'm sure, making sure that they make as much money as possible going forward. And that could play out in some good things, some bad things. Again, we will wait and see. As of right now, the proof, I would say, is what has happened in the past, and what has happened in the past so far after the Bethesda acquisition and all of the studios that Microsoft has, that they let these studios make the games that they want to make. And I hope that continues to happen going forward. Now, we are in a weird time during the industry where there's cutbacks, there's layoffs across the industry-wide here. A lot of these companies are trying to scale down a bit and focus more on the games that will make the most amount of money. This will probably last for a little bit, but once the industry is through that, I'm really hoping, and even maybe they can do it now if they're able to, just diving into the back catalog and creating unique games, creating newer games, getting older IPs and creating those again, maybe bringing back a game like Prototype, a new Tony Hawk, stuff like that, I think would just be phenomenal to see. And we may see that earlier than I expect, but as of right now, if you're looking at what's happening in the industry in terms of trends, everyone is shrinking, everyone is focusing, and everyone is trying to make sure here that the product and the games that they put out are going to be able to make a ton of money because of how expensive it is costing to be able to develop these games. Now, when it comes to Game Pass, they say once again, there's no fresh Xbox Game Pass subscriber number. They haven't announced one since 25 million subscribers. I would guess it's over 30 million at this point, but who knows? Because the last time they did announce this was January 2022. Which, if you think about it, that was the beginning of the year where there were no first-party Xbox games. So if they grew in 2022, it probably grew way more in 2023 with all the content that did come out. And 2024 is going to grow insanely, because we did hear from Satya Nadella after Starfield came out that Starfield contributed to Xbox Game Pass growth, saying on launch, we set a record for the most Game Pass subscriptions added in a single day ever. And you look at that, a huge game to be released. And then you think about all the stuff Xbox is putting out in 2024. They are going to gain tons of subscribers every time they do release a first-party game into the service. So very successful results right now on the revenue front and everything, and on the growth front because of Activision Blizzard. Now, there were a couple of other things here to note. Satya Nadella did comment here on gaming. He says here, this is about Q2 2024, of course. He says the quarter we set an all-time record for monthly active users of Xbox PC as well as mobile, where we now have 200 million monthly active users, inclusive of Activision Blizzard King. With cloud gaming, we continue to innovate to offer players more ways to experience the games they love. Hours streamed increased 44% year over year. So this is, again, big, because the monthly active users is, I think, the main measuring stick that Xbox and Microsoft use to look at the success of the Xbox platform. And adding Activision Blizzard King, you're adding a lot of players here from mobile, which is where Xbox wants to grow out, because they see the biggest opportunity for growth there with putting out more mobile games that are playable on Android and iPhone through those stores. But at the same time, they also do want to build out their own Xbox store and put those as a competing store on people's phones, on people's smartphones, on the Play Store and on Apple's App Store. So They're looking at this and they're seeing that they're going to be able to continue to add monthly active users with these different avenues. And Activision Blizzard has done a huge job of increasing those monthly active users. And the other thing that is commented on here from these financial reports comes from Amy Hood, saying that there was weaker than expected performance in the console market. Now, this is not surprising whatsoever, because the core customer of Xbox has always been the console players. I play on my Xbox. I don't play on PC. I play on PC occasionally, but the majority of my gaming is on my Xbox Series X and my Xbox Series S. And even for myself, I look at the console stuff. I think it's great. The experience is awesome. The games play great on it. However, there is that feeling, that overarching feeling, I think, from a lot of console customers, that Xbox is almost forgetting about the console customer a little bit. And maybe that has had an effect on the performance with the console market. We've been hearing about all of the rumors of a game like Hi-Fi Rush going over to PlayStation or the Nintendo Switch, when we were previously told that these games would be made wherever Game Pass is, exclusive content for wherever Game Pass is. And if they switch around their messaging, they switch around their strategy, they have to let people know, and they have to continue to find ways to make the console market important. But maybe going forward, it won't be as important. That's going to be the question as we see Xbox as well expand and evolve with the addition of Activision Blizzard. Are they winding down this generation? Are they going to start looking at the next generation already and putting out a new console there? And when is that all digital Xbox Series X coming out? These are all things playing into the console side of Xbox, and I'm excited, but also a little bit wary right now as to where they're going with the overall console strategy. But as Phil and as Xbox has previously said, it's weird. The console gamers are still the core customers. And I think it should be that way, especially even when they're showing off games, showcasing it on the Xbox Series X. But those are the financial results. Great news for Xbox, of course, because they added Activision Blizzard, so everything looks like it's booming. And if you're an investor in Microsoft, you're looking at those numbers, you're probably pretty happy. And that's one of the main reasons why they go out and do these acquisitions, so that they can post a lot of these numbers and show their growth and all that type of stuff. So this, at the end of the day, for Xbox, I think, is a pretty successful financial report, and the Xbox brand is huge now. It is massive in Microsoft itself. There's a lot of eyes are going to be on it, and the success of Microsoft highly now is resting on the success of Xbox and how they do every single quarter and how they do going forward with the future of gaming. But I'm going to end the video there, guys. If you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up. If you're new here, hit that subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.